that Hamas and Israel are complying with everything they need to and that this will go ahead?
Yes, Margaret. So knock on wood, but we feel very confident the hostages will be released and that the president is actually traveling to the Middle East likely this evening in order to meet them and greet them in person. It's a big day for their families, but I think more importantly, it's a big day for the entire world. The President of the United States set to his entire diplomatic team, especially Marco Rubio, Steve Witkoff, and Jared Kushner, to go and get a deal done, to stop the war in Gaza, to begin to rebuild Gaza so the population could live there in peace and prosperity, to actually eliminate the threat of terrorism to our friends in Israel, which is very, very important, and also to bring the hostages home alive. It was a very tall task. He pursued a very non-traditional diplomacy with people who were not 40-year diplomats, but people who brought a fresh perspective to it. And of course, the president was criticized for it. The diplomatic team was criticized for it. But I think that because he chose a different pathway, he didn't just do what everybody else in the past had done. We are now on the cusp of a sustainable peace in the Middle East. It's a great moment.
Those are some very ambitious plans in phase 2, in particular, of this deal. Let me ask you about some of the details, because the administration has pledged about 200 U.S. troops from Central Command to be part of implementing this deal. They're not going to be in Gaza, but how long will they be involved here? And more broadly, is the Trump administration fully committed to keeping the pressure on? Because those things you just mentioned aren't going to happen overnight in terms of dismantling Hamas and building towards a stable Gaza.
You're exactly right, Margaret. It is going to take consistent leverage and consistent pressure from the President of the United States on down. I know the President is very committed to doing that. But you asked about the 200 troops from Central Command. I think you put it accurately. These are not troops who are going to be put in Gaza, but they're troops who are already at Central Command. They've been at that base for many, many years, and they're going to help monitor and mediate this peace. Inevitably, there are going to be conflicts here. There are going to be things that the people in Gaza disagree with Israel about, that the Israelis disagree with the Gulf Arab states about. We see our role really as mediating some of those disputes and ensuring that the pressure stays on everybody to achieve a durable and lasting peace. One of the underreported elements of this deal, Margaret, is that the president convinced the entire Muslim world, really, both the Gulf Arab states, but as far in Southeast Asia as Indonesia, to really step up and provide ground troops so that Gaza could be secured in safety. And that actually makes it possible to rebuild. It makes it possible to dismantle those terrorist networks. It makes it possible to ensure that lasting peace that all of us care so much about. So we think that the Arab countries, the Muslim majority countries, are going to step up in a big way with troops on the ground. We're going to continue to play our mediation role. And I think that's a very, very good place for all of us to be. It's been successful thus far. And of course, we're going to work to make it as successful all the way through as we can.
A big picture, though, when it comes to American security. You said back in July that you'd seen what you called heartbreaking images of little kids who are clearly starving to death in Gaza, and that, quote, Israel's got to do more to let that aid in. Are you concerned that even if, God willing, this war ends, America's security has been endangered by this perception that America has been okay with Israel and in support of it, despite conduct that clearly you and the president didn't agree with?
Well, look, as the president said, you have to remember the war started because of a brutal terrorist attack on Israeli soil, and we've been laser focused on eliminating the terrorist threat to the Israelis while also ensuring that the innocent people in Gaza get the necessary humanitarian aid. That's a difficult balance to strike. But I think if you look at the dancing in the street in Gaza, if you look at the way that the Gulf Arab states, really the entire Muslim world, but also you look at how the Israelis responded. They were cheering at the mention of President Trump's name yesterday in a massive rally in Israel. This is one of those peace deals where Muslims and Jews and Christians all seem unified, that it's a really good thing for the world. It's a really good thing for humanity. And it happened because of President Trump's leadership. So I actually think this peace deal will make us safer. I'm sure there are going to be some hard feelings from the last couple of years of war. There always are. But if we can build a sustainable peace, Margaret, I am 100% sure Americans will be safer because of it.
Let me ask you about what's happening here at home, or